Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Sarthak Show, where we discuss about tech, career, product and life. And today we have a very special podcast with Mansi. She is working as a senior product designer at HackerEarth. So आपने HackerEarth यूज करा होगा अपने हायरिंग एंड रिक्रूटिंग एग्जाम्स के लिए, कंपनीज को जॉब कोडिंग टेस्ट देने के लिए. And today we will look towards a job which is in the IT sector, in the technology sector, which is very common among a lot of companies, but it's not a coding profile. So designing as a job, what is a user experience designer do? What kind of things you should learn for? What kind of things you should aim for? What are those skills that you need to acquire? What is a typical interview process? How you can learn those skills? How you can align or you can know you are the right person for product design is how we will be uncover in this particular video with Mansi. So I hope आपको ये podcast काफी अच्छा लगेगा. And before starting with that, if you have not even subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon near that so that you get a notification every time I put a new video. Without further delay, let's start with the video. Welcome back to my channel where we discuss about tech, career, product and life. And in this special podcast, we have Mansi with us. She is a senior product designer at HackerEarth. And today we will deep dive into her story as what all things are required to become a product designer, what are the things that to be considered, what are different skills that are required, and what kind of a typical interview that you can face and how to crack those interviews. So thank you so much, Mansi, for joining us for this event podcast. And we would love to know all about these things. So with this podcast, I want to know, can you share a little bit about yourself? And
thank you, Sarthak, for having me on your show. And I'm really glad that I'm getting to address so many people through this. Okay, so starting to talk about myself. Okay, I'm a computer science engineer, but I have been working as a product designer for almost 6 years. Talking about my professional background, I started working as an intern in a design studio called Design for Use, which was based out of Gurgaon, and that's Delhi NCR. And then I moved on to working for Shuttle, which is also a product-based company, which was based out of Gurgaon. And now I'm currently working at HackerEarth, which is a technical recruiting platform, and it's based out of Bangalore. So this is my journey as like my professional journey per se. And so it was a good experience where we got to work on different different products, where I got to work in different products at a smaller amount of time. HackerEarth, here also I'm getting to work on Face Code, which is one of their products.
It's a wonderful journey. I think transitioning from computer side towards product design, and then working from a service-based company towards moving to a product-based firm, and now working on such great products. Most of the folks are not even aware what a product design field is or what is product design in general, and something like why it is important for a product or a company. So would you want to share some light on that as well?
Product design is a term that is used interchangeably with user experience design nowadays. So if you see a person who is a product designer at so-and-so place, you can also see a person who's a user experience designer at so-and-so place. So both of them might be a similar kind of work. So product design is a process in which you design a usable product which kind of meets the two important things, which is one is customer needs, and the second is the business goals of the company. So you kind of marry them, and then that is the thing. That process is called product design. To give you an example, so like I was talking about Shuttle and how they were trying to solve the problem of people commuting daily to work. They commute from their home to their office place and back every day. That was the problem, that was the need that they were solving. And then what was the business goal of the company? That they wanted to provide this service where there can be an ecosystem of people who can use the service, drivers who can drive the buses, who can then the company who can, run such a service, and then they can make profits as well. So they can acquire more customers, they can reach to different cities, they can grow. So that was some kind of that was the business goal for them. So whatever products that we were designing there had these two things in mind.
That is a thing that most of the people don't understand. Like, product design is important, and product design as a field also exists. Like, it is something that also makes a significant contribution to your product growth or to your product adoption in the market. So wanted to know and touch base on that point. Why did you move into this domain, or what was that trigger point that made you decide product design is the one thing that I should move into? What made you more intrigued about this? Yeah.
I didn't know about the product design term at all. And when I thought about it, that this is something I like, but I don't know what is it called. So the term was also not there. Somebody that I spoke to through this cold emailing thing connected me to the CEO of the first company that I worked with, Design for Use. And so I was not fully sure that I want to go ahead with this, but this was something that really intrigued me, and I wanted to explore whether, is it for me or not. But at that moment, I had decided that, coding is something that I'm not really interested in. That's not my focus. So that's why I wanted to explore what all can be done.
I think a very interesting story here as well. So coming from a background from computer science, but there are chances that you are not interested in coding, and there are things that you're more passionate about, that you feel more aligned to, and you did your efforts, you made that hustle to move into this domain, research about it, and find that perfect place for internship and learning. So I think if for people who are coming from coding, there are skills like they have to learn about some DS language, they have to make some projects or something. What is that? I would say similar things that you have to do in the design field. What are the different skills that you should acquire? What are the things that you should learn about, and how you can showcase?
There are two areas where you can, like major areas where you can work. One is the UX part of it, and the other is the UI part of it. Both combined make the product design, and there is not one without the other. But the ways that you learn each of these things are different. That you can start learning by looking at the products that you have. It could be digital products, it could be physical products. What makes a good experience? What are the things that you need as a user? So understanding user needs is one thing that is very important. And user, when you talk about UX, that is the main thing that you need to understand, that how will you uncover the user need. For example, if you say that, okay, so if I order something every day, order food every day from any app, so then you have to understand that how, like, for different sets of user, this might work differently. So for a student, they would want to order something that is cheap, that is homemade, that can arrive at a faster speed. So you can get that express delivery, and you can do that. So for a person like me who's a working professional, I might want to go for different kind of foods. So in the same app, you're catering different types of users who have different types of needs. So understanding about those people who are potential users of your app, of your product, is the main key in experience. Everybody cannot be as technologically literate as you. Is that product even usable for them?
Okay.
So one thing you have to see that. Then when it comes to the UI side of things, then there are different things that you think about when you're designing anything. So I'm going to talk only about the digital product design. Any brand that you're designing for might have some colors associated with it, some logos associated, or some guidelines associated with that. So you have to understand that you're following and translating that same language into your UI. Why are we using those colors? That is the part of UI that you want to think about, that read about color psychology, that why are certain colors better and why should you use them in certain places and what color should you use in different places. Then it's the typography that you need to understand that, okay, why is a particular font used versus another font? What are different font combinations that work together well? Why then something important that it's really important to think about while designing any kind of UI is accessibility. So there are certain psychological principles also that we use while designing things. So this is choice one that I told you about is one principle, psychological principle, that you should have less choice to select from. That helps make the decision faster. So that is one thing that we use. So then thinking about the interactions as well. If I am clicking on something, then what kind of feedback, visual feedback I'm getting, that if I'm clicking on, say I'm adding something to the cart, there is some animation or some interaction that gives me a visual feedback that this is added to my cart and now I can go and pay for it. Then there are sound interactions as well. So if you see that if you booked a cab with Ola, or if you booked if you've ordered through Dunzo or anything, there is the sound that comes once your order is delivered. And then there is a sound that comes when your Ola is right at your pickup point. So that is a sound interaction or a sound feedback that you get. So all these kind of integrities are things that you have to look at while you're designing the product. Testing with the real users as well. That sometimes does not happen at every feature release that you do in a product company, that you're not able to test so much. But what you can do is, in that situation, is that you can still look at the data, that how was it used, and then kind of make incremental changes or informed decisions that you want to change this aspect because it was used like this. And then you can interview people on how that was used, and then you can derive the reasons for it and make some incremental changes in the design that you had shipped earlier. So it's like an ongoing process that can keep on happening. So when you work at a product company, it will be a mix of you would release some features at one go, then you would see how they're performing, and if you want to make some changes to it on how they're by the users, and then you kind of make incremental changes to it along with working on new features that you want to release for the product. So it's an ongoing process. It's an iterative process that will keep on happening.
Your product is something that is making the solution, but it is how you show it to the user. They will understand and they will how it interact with it. And that's how you keep this user as your customer. Adding something to cart and placing that order can lead to 10 different ways for 10 different people to test the market out and understand what are the behavior, how are they interacting. Maybe somebody who is not technically literate, or who is something coming from a different genre altogether, somebody who is very, very fast in doing things and learning things. There are 10 different buttons present on the screen. Which button they interact with first? How do they know? So these are things that I believe are very, very crucial, and people have not realized the lot of effort goes into this. So every day we casually book our cabs or order some food or place some order on Amazon or something like that, but we don't give enough attention like how beautiful it is designed. How is that solving a lot of things for me? अगर ये बटन यहाँ की जगह यहाँ होता तो मेरे लिए कितना difficult हो सकता था, या something like ये बटन की जगह मुझे type करना पड़ता, so that would be a difficult process for me. So understanding these little nuances that make my life easier on that app or makes me like that app much better than other competitor are few things that people don't give enough attention to.
That's true. So communication is one bigger aspect of things that people miss out on. Even communication could be through visuals. Communication could be through your copy, that the messaging that you're writing, the hierarchy of the information that you're putting. So if a person is seeing something at first, what is the information that they're seeking the first time they're landing? What will catch them? What will catch their eye? So that is something that is very important when you're designing that what do you want to communicate. To answer the question that you asked me about how can people acquire these skills, to get started, you can understand the whole process of a design thinking process. You can understand the how UI is designed, how flows are made, all of that. But when you apply them is when you actually learn how to, what your process is.
What are your opinion based on your experiences working at different companies, and learning from them? How do people like a fresher or maybe experienced one can apply at these companies? What are the typical rounds of interviews look like? What kind of questions are asked? What are different things that you are evaluated on? What are those things?
The typical interview process is somewhat like that, right. But basically they have one critical round that there is in every interview is a portfolio presentation round. Okay. For a person who has worked in a company, you can show the latest project that you've worked on, a holistic project that you've worked on. By holistic here, I mean that, you've done some kind of research there. You have done some kind of, it's an elaborate project. It's not a very small feature. Even if it's a very small feature that you've worked on, you can present it and you can, tell about the design decisions that you've taken through it. So that really helps. If you're a person who's just starting out and who does not have any project that they can show, so it's always good to have any kind of self-initiated project as well. So you don't do redesigns of things. In my opinion, redesigning Swiggy, redesigning Zomato, redesigning any kind of platform is something that, people don't perceive as much because you didn't know what would be constraints in which they were designing that particular product. So if you can work on a problem statement that you feel is around you, and then what is your perspective on actually improving that when you choose a problem which you are passionate about, and then actually work towards it. So you'll go through the entire process that you've learned. You will interview people, you will find out the problems that are currently there. You'll take some assumptions, you will have some constraints that you can't work on this particular thing, and then you can come up with the designs or the solution that you feel fit for that, whatever your research has shown. Then you can apply that in your designs. That's something that really helps, that leaves a very lasting impression. There can be two different rounds. Okay, so one is app critique round. App critique round is a round where you are asked to critique any app that you frequently use. It could be Amazon, could be Spotify, could be anything, which is very common and like a lot of people use it. So in this particular round, what you're expected to do is that you're expected to know the problem that product is solving. You're expected to understand that what the users of that app would be, who the users of the app would be, who how they're operating, what are the different mindsets they might be in. So you can make assumptions, you can ask questions during that interview round to the interviewer. But what they're mainly looking at is that how do you perceive a product. And then app critique might sound like that you have to just say wrong things about the product. No, you have to say things, you have to understand the holistic picture of that product. You have to understand the experience of part of it, that how, what are the users, what are the business goals that the company might be trying to solve, what is the problem that they're solving. Then you can come to the UI part of it as well, that how the colors are used, how the fonts are used, are they communicating, what are they communicating to the people, is it clear, how do you use it, what are the interactions like, and then what do you feel as a user, how do you think this could have been done better, some suggestions with it. So all of this is like a proper round where where people can understand that how you think about products as a whole. So with every round, you need to understand what the interviewer is trying to gauge. From the app critique round, they're trying to understand that, how you think of the product holistically, how you think about the flows, how you think about the interactions, how you think about the problem that is being solved. Is the problem being solved at all or not? So they just want to know about your thinking process, about the questions that you would ask them, about the assumptions that you would make about that product. So things like that. Then there's another round called whiteboarding round, or otherwise it's like a take-home assignment round. So they're given a problem statement, and you have to either you get time 3-4 days to work on it by yourself in your own time, and then you can submit it after 3 days, or there is a live session, whiteboarding session, that the interviewers can take, and where they will tell you the problem on the spot, and then you can work your way through the problem and reach some kind of rudimentary wireframes. You're not expected to make the visual final designs there, but the main goal is to actually see how you think again. Right. How you approach a problem. Then you need to ask questions, more and more questions about who the users are, what do they, like how does their basic daily life work, what are the different touch points that they have with this product, how good questions, how many questions does the candidate ask the interviewer during that session is one main thing that is looked at. And how do they approach it? Do they directly jump to the solution, or do they work their way towards it? Good resource that I've found for whiteboarding exercises is Solving Product Design Exercises is a book that people can refer to, and a lot of exercises that are given in that book, and they can practice on it. Otherwise, also, there are a lot of YouTube videos nowadays on whiteboarding challenges, even app critiques, where you can refer to how does it happen before actually getting into the interview with it. So you can see and you can experience what kind of questions are asked. So this kind of practice that you can do before getting into the interview.
So folks, I hope with this we come to the end of this video, and आपको ये video काफी अच्छी लगी होगी. All the people who are in their college phase, who are looking to make their career in product design phase, please share this video with them, like this video, and mention your doubts in the comment section below. I will be happy to answer and resolve them. Also check out her LinkedIn profile in the description box below, so that you can reach out from further guidance. You can reach out. And stay tuned for the part 2 of this video, which will be dropping soon, where we will discuss about a lot of things for the professionals as well. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care. See you. Bye bye.